Good afternoon. Today is the 13th day of November 2016, and this is part two of our wonderful interview with Amy. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Wonderful, huh?
So, you were telling us about your work experience in Oroville.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really I've consistently had the sense that I have served where I needed to be. Um, and some places for longer than other places. So the last was housing service. And from housing service, I went into an organization called the Funds and Assets Management Committee, FAMC. It used to be, from its creation until just a month ago, frankly, it was an apex body. It was men and women in the community from other working areas, like, and representing that area. So we have something called the Oroville Board of Commerce, ABC. We had a representative from ABC on the FAMC. We have the Oroville Board of Services, the ABS. We had someone representing ABS on the FAMC. We had somebody from Unity Fund. We had somebody from Sire. We had somebody from land. We've had different incarnations of our land. So LRM, LEM, LCC, you don't want to know all these names, but somebody who is representing the work of land. Farms, somebody representing farms. Forests, somebody representing forests. You get the idea. So there was about 12 to 14 people, mostly men, which was, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and it was what it was. At one point, there was one woman from farm, and then she was replaced by another woman from farm, but all the other representatives were men. I was the secretary. And that was a very useful way for me to be introduced into the overall scheme of Oroville, because Funds and Assets Management Committee, it kind of speaks for itself, right? So all the budgets, the Funds and Assets Management Committee is responsible for the housing. So housing is a subgroup of FAMC. The units and the trusts, all kind of things that change, creation of units and trusts, changes of executives, things like this, all funnel up to with a final approval by this Funds and Assets Management Committee. So as the secretary, there was a lot of variety, which I enjoyed, and I was supporting this group of people, and I like to be in that support role, and I'm very organized and motivated and proactive, and so I was, over the years, I made the job more than what it had been, and was attending the meetings and taking the notes and all of that, of course, documenting everything. But then I became the chairperson. So for the last 4 years, I have been the chairperson of the FAMC and the secretary, and continuing to support them. And every few years, the representatives would change. So over the years, myself and one person had been there the longest. So which puts you in a unique position, because people are coming in after and need to hear from the people who've been there longer the things that are going on and how things work and this and that. But it's, it was primarily, secretary, making sure that the people who were responsible for making decisions had the information they needed, making sure they were meeting with people that they needed to meet. I was doing all of the, not all, not 100%, but 95% of the communication. So a lot of writing, which I enjoy. I mentioned earlier my affinity for language, so a lot of writing.
And when you say funds, it was also allocation of funds?
Yes, yes. So I've been supporting that process for almost 6 years. This year, in March, the Residents' Assembly, which is all the residents of Oroville over the age of 18, approved a new Funds and Assets Management Committee mandate. And they decided, or we decided, the Residents' Assembly, that we didn't want it to be a representative body anymore. We wanted people who could devote more time, because what we were experiencing was that when it was a representative body, that all of those people, their primary focus and time commitment was with other things. And we're hoping with this new formation, this new constellation of this Funds and Assets Management Committee, that more of the members, and there's 9 members now, will be able to devote all of this will be their primary service in the community, managing funds and assets. And so we went through a selection process recently, and now I'm a member. So, which is, wow. I mean, it's really, you've caught me in a major transformational period with this. So we have 8. We have 6 new members, because 2 are continuing and I'm there. I mean, I wasn't a member, but I know all this stuff, right? So so this new team is really new. We were selected on the 23rd of October. It's the 13th of November. We've had a few meetings. Shally is there as a member and was selected from the community during a selection process like the other people, which is lovely. Lovely to be working with her in this capacity again. It's really, really wonderful for both of us. And but we're new, and we have a new mandate, and the expectations are really high. You know, this new team, and you guys are going to do all this. And my aspiration to become a member is to exercise what wants to come through me for the future economy of Oroville. And I believe that there's other people in the team who have a similar calling, that they want to be part of a manifestation of something new in our economy. So that's what I'm in now, this Funds and Assets Management Committee. It is very important.
What about the exchange of money?
Well, it's still there. We still exchange money. I don't know
when it will change or how.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'd like to just touch on the arts and education and sports for a bit.
Okay.
Because Oroville offers so much to children.
Yes, it really does. Oh boy. And there's many different schools, and some of the schools are, the ratio of teacher to student is just, it's wonderful. I can really imagine how wonderful it is to be a young parent with some young children going to the Oroville schools. Yeah, I don't personally have so much direct involvement in the schools, because I'm, working from home primarily, and going to meetings, which is part of what life is about. But there definitely is an abundance of schools, of art opportunities, of culture, of exhibitions. For being a township in India, Southeast India, where it's so rich. It's mind-boggling, it's a little bit. We still get into this sometimes. This mentality of scarcity, and I think it's this old. I don't know what it is. It's this the old self coming in, but it's such a rich community in terms of opportunities for art, for language, for classes, for activities, for young people, for young at heart people. We have Savitri Bhavan, we have Unity Pavilion, we have a cinema where people go and watch movies. There's events often at our visitor center, fun things where young people are putting on performances of arts that they're learning. There was something very recent where they were showing, like with the fire, with the batons and acrobatics. And the few times that I go to these things, because I'm kind of a homebody myself, you see children shining. And I often find myself wondering, it's just one of these things that humans do, how I would have been different if I had grown up in an environment that was so nurturing and rich and free. And you see the children riding their bicycles on the Crown Road, and they're on their own, and I believe they feel safe, they feel good, they're going along on the road, and they see people they know, because we all see each other at Solar Kitchen, at different places. And it's this wonderful tapestry, this life, the life that we get to live out every day. There's just this beautiful connection. It's not always harmonious, not always. There's often disharmony, frankly, but we're connected with the children, with the young at heart, people who are turning gray, getting older. It's wonderful. I don't know. I can't be more specific than that. I think it's a very rich community, very, very rich.
And are there many opportunities to share the writings of Mother and Sri Aurobindo in Oroville?
My sense is that there are, but it's more personal. There's openness and freedom and space for that, but it's a individual choice. I'm aware of people who, for example, read Savitri together. People who are studying Sri Aurobindo's philosophy together, smaller groups of people who, my sense is that they're friends. They're already friends. There's already a connection. There's already a bond and a trust that's more active than what we have anyway, because we are a small community. More organized is something that you would find at Savitri Bhavan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think what other places there might be something like that happening, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head as far as organized sharing, reading Sri Aurobindo and the Mother.
How do you see the evolution of Oroville in the coming years?
So future evolution, not what I think I've seen to now, because I can tell you,
Yes, yes.
just in the 12 years.
Okay, we can cover that too.
Yeah, I mean, evolution is slow, but I definitely have observed in myself and in others and in the physical, the manifestation, the land, buildings, what have you, everything. And there's also the stuff that you can't see and you can't touch. There's definitely an evolution. It's a I'm more comfortable with the word transformation.
Oh,
But I guess I don't want to get too much into semantics, but I guess evolution for me has this connotation of progress,
collectively, of course.
of going from this to that, whereas transformation is maybe not so obvious. So I see transformation within evolution. So and I experience it in myself. I am not the same person. And next year I have an aspiration to not be the same person sitting here in front of you now. When I first arrived, I'll just give you one example. When I first arrived in Oroville, we used to have our general meetings in Sauchu. Sauchu, oh boy, don't ask me to tell you what that means. Sri Aurobindo Center for World Heritage. Anyway, Sauchu. It's an outside space, round, and we'd sit on cushions. So when I first came to Oroville, we would have general meetings of the Residents' Assembly in Sauchu. That was very common. And you couldn't get 20 minutes into a meeting without somebody getting up and shouting, or
been in those meetings.
somebody taking the floor and just going on and on and on and on and on. And it's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore. And it's not to say that people don't express, dissension or dissatisfaction or frustration. I mean, these things all still are there. We're still working through this stuff. But I do experience that the collectivity is maturing, and it's a relationship. I mean, we're bonded. I mean, the joke is kind of like a dysfunctional family, but we're definitely family. And in some ways, yeah, we probably are still dysfunctional. But in more ways that I experience and I perceive and hear and see and have around, we have matured collectively. Partly, it's concentrating, putting focus, putting light on conflict resolution. When I first came, people weren't talking about it so much. People weren't exploring tools, real tools for conflict resolution. And I believe that energy, that aspiration to create spaces where conflict can arise, but not be a tearing down kind of conflict, but a respectful, loving, safe, that we're maturing with this, and we can hear each other and we can listen to each other in ways that I didn't see when I first came on the collective. It's been years since I've seen someone in a general meeting, that's one of our gatherings, behave in ways that I had observed when I was first here. That's just one example, which I find quite beautiful, because I don't expect us to always agree, but I hope that we can agree to disagree. I hope that I can disagree with you but still love you. I hope that I can express my other opinion and still be acceptable to my fellow Orwellians. You know, I want to be that, and I hope to receive that. And I see that more. I see it in individuals. I see it in these collective gatherings. So that's on that level. I mean, materially, yeah, it's evolving. We're getting more organized. We're getting a little more professional. I mean, come on. You know, in 1968, it was just nothing out there, right? Sure. I mean, you have to, considering that there was nothing out there, it hasn't been that long. And Orville, I do believe, over these years has attracted people who don't like authority, who don't like rules. We're really ideally not having rules, but we do to a certain degree. So it's all been pretty organic and beautiful because of that, but also chaotic and unclear. And, you know, for some people arriving, that's like, you know, but for some other people, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, everything's flowing, la, la, la. So it's you know, making us all meet and go together. It's awesome to watch and be a part of. So we're getting a bit more professional, a bit more organized, but we struggle with that because the old thing comes in, these forms that want to say, this is it. Let's do it this way. You know, and we start to lose sight of but we can, you know, we can still, and there's a tree there, let's put that road around that tree kind of thing. We still struggle with that, but, you know, it's okay. That's okay. I mean, that's part of, that's part of that exploration. We're just exploring and exploring. We are in the midst of, right now, talking afresh about town planning and development. I mean, we've been planning and development of the township since 1968, so since before 1968, and we're still trying to figure out, how do we want to do this? What are the goals? What are the aspirations? What's the dream? What do we want to see? How much green and how many benches with trees for people to sit under, and how many places for people to cycle instead of being, on a motorized transport. People want to have a solar tram, these sorts of things. So we're still exploring. And that's the evolution that I see, is that we're still exploring. There's room. Okay, this didn't work. We sometimes kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, and like start all over, like on the ground, and that maybe isn't always so terribly efficient, but we are learning to look at our history and look at the documentation that's already been done and the studies that have already been done, and have that inform the dream of where we want to arrive. So.
What about interaction with the village people?
I find that I hear more about it than I experience it myself. You may or may not know, the last number I heard is that Oroville employs like at least 5,000 people from surrounding. If you're reading Oroville Today, you might be able to find a reference to that in Oroville Today. So quite a lot of people coming from Kolapaliam, Irian Chaviri, Bomapaliam, Alangupam, Kochakarai, Sanjeev Nagar, where Oroville, it's very much connected with these southeast Tamil Nadu villages. These people who are native, whose ancestors have been here a long, long time, and this is where I enjoy very much sharing with someone like Shankar, who I mentioned to you earlier. He's from Kalapalayam. His father was, if I'm remembering correctly, a farmer with some agricultural land, and he remembers what it was like when all these people showed up on the barren plateau and started hanging out there, and what the conditions were in Kalapalayam, for example, because that's the village. That's one of the larger villages that we are connected with in Oroville, and to hear about the material, that's just one level, of course, material changes for the people living. I mean, these people live in a village in Southeast India. I don't live in a village. I've never lived in a village. I think it would be, frankly, difficult for me. It's a very simple mud hut, keep roof, cooking outside with some brick with a pot with some fire. They're collecting firewood every day. These people are just amazing. So I observe hardworking, smiling, riding their bicycle or walking barefoot, just people of the earth. That's what I observe. I don't speak Tamil. I've tried to learn and I have been unsuccessful so far. People who've been here longer probably would be able to tell you a lot more. I have chosen very consciously to not employ someone locally. It's just not my thing. I don't feel that I want or need to have someone cleaning my house for me. I made the mess. I can clean it up. I don't want someone cutting my grass for me. I'm going to stay young like you, and I'm going to do it myself. It means it takes a lot longer for it to get done. So I don't employ anyone locally, which a lot of people in Oroville do. Many people in Oroville do have what we call amma, which is someone who's in the house cleaning, or a gardener, which is obvious. So many people are having that and have that relationship. Some people have this relationship for 25, 30 years, somebody in their home. They become even a part of the family. So I have not had that. The experiences that I have had directly have always been very sweet. Like in Future School, there was some of the ladies working there, arriving every day on their bicycles with their beautiful sari, no raincoat in the monsoon, and smiling and just gentle most of the time, not always, but most of the time, and just giving and sweet and very different from where I come from. I'm a bit kind of rah rah rah, and being from Northern California, and I didn't have a strong personality, if I can put it that way. So generally I feel like a bull in a china shop compared to some of the local people. I find the local people, I don't like to generalize, I really don't, but I'll just say that it's just gentle. And our relationship is difficult sometimes, mostly to do with land. Yeah, when we have difficulties collectively as Oroville with the collectivity of Irian Chaviri or the collectivity of Kolapalayam, it's land, it's a fence issue. It's, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's been another reason that we've had any disharmony, and I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Mandakini is doing a lot of work raising funds.
Oh, Mandakini is awesome.
She's
a force. I just love her. We have the sweetest communications, and whenever she comes into Oroville, I see her, I give her a huge hug. She is lovely. She's talk about a channel, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm getting chills again. Yeah, she's wonderful. Wonderful.
You've mentioned a few times about your love of writing. Could you tell us a little bit more about
Oh.
what you write?
Well, yeah. There's a book in me somewhere, but it hasn't manifested yet, and I don't even know what it would be about. No, I write. I mostly when I it would and it's a little bit. So this is a challenge for me. I was writing short stories when I first arrived because of all of the experiences were new, and so I wrote a story about when I got my driver's license. That was very interesting, and this and that. I wrote a story about when I got my nose pierced because that was also a trip. Because in the West, they have these little gun things and they just go chink it and then it's done, or they go chink it and it's done. But here, anyway, I'm not here to tell you a story. So yeah, the writing it's mostly communicating a decision, a request. It's work related mostly. I'm trying to think of the last time that I sat down and wrote something creative and fun for me, just for the fun of it. It's been a while. But I get the feeling, because it does come up to me from time to time, that I do still enjoy and get a lot from the daily writing that I do. The communications, the reports, yeah, all of that through my work. But that said, Orville Today recently invited me to attend one of their morning meetings. They meet every Saturday morning to talk about no, not every Saturday morning. Scratch. They meet on a particular Saturday morning to talk about the next issue of Orville Today. And it's been a little dream of mine to write for Orville Today. Oh. So I happened to mention that to somebody recently, and they happened to mention that to Carol. And so I got an email, and they said, you should come. So it may be happening now. Okay. Now may be the time that I will be writing more publicly. Maybe I will, maybe you'll see an article from me in Orville Today in the next couple of months. And I don't know what I would write about. Maybe about the FAMC, the new FAMC, maybe.
Hemant spoke to us about the great advances in solar. What advances do you see in Orville that are groundbreaking?
Wow.
Whether psychologically or on a physical level?
That's a big question. Groundbreaking?
Certainly the solar work that's gone all over India and all over the world.
Well, I don't know if it's groundbreaking, and I am not directly experiencing it, but I believe, so I have to say that, I believe that Orville is manifesting an integral education. I really do believe that it is. It's surely not what Mother said, integral education, ABC, XY. It's not that perfectly, but when I experience the young people in Orville, I experience young people who they know themselves. They're self-aware in a way that I mean, I don't know. Okay, I haven't been to the West since 2009. I don't know what young people are like right now. But I'm guessing I'm guessing that a lot of young people today are very wrapped up with their devices, with their cell phone, with their
Yes.
tablet, with their Kindle, with their laptop. I mean, I see things. I see a YouTube video or I see a film, and everybody is like this. Not to say that the young people in Oroville don't have access to devices also, but I really believe that we are providing an environment which includes an education that is integral for young people and actually also for adults. That people are able to experience life more holistically. It's not compartmentalized. It's not like, okay, you wake up in the morning and you're at your house and you have your cup of coffee and you drive in your car and you go and you sit in an office and you do a job for some other guy who's making tons of money off you and you're getting nothing practically. And then you do that and then you go to lunch at some place and you don't even know these people. And then you go back to your office and you work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And then it's not like that. I mean, the life, the what we're learning, I see these young people, they have something, and maybe many of them were born here, so maybe it's because they were born here. There's something happening in the schools because maybe it's because it's the teacher to student ratio is smaller, so the young people are getting more attention. I can't quantify exactly why I have this belief, but I really do have this experience with coming into contact with these younger people, that they are self-aware, they are somehow, there's something more fundamental that's alive in them, something that's really deep and rich and alive in them, even though there's a lot of the normal kind of distractions that people have in life. So yeah, I would say that for me, I mean, maybe there's really great things happening in education for young people in other places in the world, but this integral education, this nurturing of what does that soul need, I believe that is happening here, and that we are benefiting and will continue to benefit from this.
That is certainly a wonderful way to conclude our visit.
Oh, good.
I think it's so wonderful. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share. Thank you so much.